Welcome to our channel. In today's video, we will explore the essential topics for anyone preparing for PowerApps interview like app lifecycle management will be our topic today. So app lifecycle management, or we can say ALM, basically play a critical role into the PowerApps development from the initial design phase to deployment and ongoing maintenance. In this video, we will tackle some of the most common interview questions around ALM and provide you the best strategy that will be helpful to manage your apps life cycle into the Power Apps. And we will cover the entire process, like from managing development stages, transitioning through environments, ensuring successful deployment. So whether you are a developer, admin, or preparing for a job interview, this video will give you the knowledge and the confidence to ask your Power Apps ALM question. So don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notification so you don't miss out for any future Power Apps content. So let's get started. So question is, how do you manage the different stages of the app development into the Power Apps? So managing app development strategy into the Power Apps involves setting up the distinct environment like development environment, testing environment and the production environment. Testing environment is also known as the staging environment because it has a similar structure like a production. This can be done using the environments into the Power Platform where each environment isolates data and the apps. For this, solutions are created into the development and then it is exported and imported into the testing and the production environment. Version control and the careful documentation of the changes ensure a smooth transition between the different stages. What strategy would you use to maintain version control during the app development into the Power Apps? So version control into the Power Apps can be managed through the solutions and the Git repository. I mostly use the solution to package and transport the changes and tools like Azure DevOps for the versioning. And regularly publishing the versions in the development, maintaining the backups and labeling the releases help in tracking the different stages of the app. Next question is, how do you ensure seamless collaboration among team members working on different stages of the app development into the Power Apps? So for seamless collaboration, it can be managed into the shared environment by using the RBAC. RBAC is nothing but a role-based access control and it is used for the assigning the permission. So every team member that are working on their role in the development and testing environment, they should have the required access. And keep tracking the task is being done by the Azure DevOps and PowerApps solutions that enables the team members to contribute to app component without any conflicts. What role do solutions play in managing the app development stages in the PowerApps? So here interviewer want to know what is the role of the solution. So solution in the Power Apps are used to package the apps, different components such as flows and the connectors. So solution is basically a package of all the components that are being used and on that particular app. And it is essential for moving the app between the development, testing and the production environment. Solution also is so that all the changes are tracked and app remains modular for the any future update. There are two type of solution. One is the managed solution and next one is the unmanaged solution. And it helps to controlling the changes and debugging during the development life cycle. So in my other series, I have explained what is the unmanaged solution and what is the managed solution. You can refer that one. How do you manage dependency during the app development life cycle in Power Apps? So managing dependency basically involved understanding the relationship between the different components like tables, flows and the connectors. And whenever there is a package being built in the solution, it allows dependencies to be included there. So all the necessary component should be added into the solutions. It should be all the dependencies should be tested into the staging environment to prevent any issue during the deployment into the production. How do you structure your testing process into the Power Apps to ensure high quality app deployment? So how the testing is performed? So test for the test process into the Power Apps, it involves the unit testing for the individual component, and after that there should be the integration testing with the data source and the flows, and at last in the staging environment there should be UAT. UAT is nothing but a user acceptance testing. Automation testing, automated testing tools and the manual testing basically ensure the app is behaving as it is expected. And the main focus of the testing should be on the functionality, performance, security, and the user experience. So before moving to the production, every component of the solution should be well tested. What is the importance of the staging environment into the Power Apps? And how do you set up your staging environment? So in normal scenario, the staging environment basically mimics the production environment, and it allows for the final testing before production deployment. And it is crucial for the identifying and fixing the last minute bugs. Setting up a staging environment basically involves creating a separate environment into the Power Platform and importing the app solution from the dev environment to staging environment. Here all the realistic test data is used to simulate the actual user scenario. So basically this is almost replica of the production environment. So if everything get passed into the staging environment, then we can hope that everything will work as per the expectation into the production environment. How do you handle the data difference between the testing, staging and to the production environment? So data difference are handled by using the test data set in the testing and staging environment, and that mimic the production data. So data separation is crucial to prevent testing from affecting live data. Live data should not be used. And for our case, mostly we use the environment variables into the Power App to switch between the different data sources based on the environment. So in this case, we don't need to make any change in the code. We can use the environment variable and just call that environment variable into our code. And whenever we are into the development, we can set the development value. In the staging, we can set the staging value into the environment variable, and same as a production environment. How would you deploy an app from staging to production into the Power Apps? So deployment from the staging to production into the Power Apps is done by exporting the solution from the staging environment and importing it into the production environment. And before deployment, we should ensure that all the features have been tested and approved into the staging environment. Because once it is deployed, you need to monitor the performance and the user feedback closely to address any issue if arises into the production. How do you ensure that app updates do not disrupt the production environment? So for prevention of the disruption, we should use the feature flag to enable or disable the new functionality. All updates are first deployed to a testing and staging environment, and at this place the comprehensive testing should be done. Rolling updates basically allow the phase releases and it minimizes the risk. Monitoring and the rollback plans are in place to address any issue after the deployment. How do you manage the configuration setting between the different environment into the Power Apps? So for configuration settings, we should use the environment variables, which basically allow to changing the configuration without modifying the app code. On the base of that different stages, you can do change the value in the environment variable. And these variables can store URLs, API keys or other environment specific settings. It also enables the seamless transition between the development, testing and to the production environment. What technique do you use to ensure the app remains scalable and stable as it moves from development to production? So for scalability, we should optimize the app performance during the development, limiting the data calls and reducing the number of on-demand calculation. In production, we should monitor the app performance using the Power Platform Analytics, and we should also do the regular review and refine the process in the staging environment that ensure the stability before the production deployment. How do you manage the app security differently across testing, staging, and the production environment? So security management basically vary across the different environments. In the development and testing, we can use the lower security setting for the easiness of the testing. In staging and production, security settings are the tightened. So to ensure that proper authentication, authorization and the data encryption is happening in that environment. We can also use the role-based access control that will enforce to restrict who can access the sensitive data. How would you perform performance testing into the Power Apps before moving to the production? So in the Power Apps, performance testing basically involves the testing the app under the realistic loads into the stage environment. So whatever is the expected load can happen into the production environment. Similar scenario we should create into the staging environment to do the performance testing. And here we can utilize a tool like Power Platform Analytics and the monitoring services. It will help to measure the app performance. We should check the load times, response times, and how the app handles a large data set. Performance bottlenecks should also be identified and it should be optimized before moving to the production. What steps do you take to monitor and maintain an app before it has been deployed to the production environment? So after deployment, we should monitor the app using the PowerApps analytics, and by this tool we can track the performance at the user activity. Regular audits and performance reviews should also happen to check that how the application is stable and scalable. And we should also collect the user feedback and address any bugs or the performance issue promptly. How do you manage the hot fixes and the critical updates into the live production environment? So for the critical updates, we should prepare a hotfix into the development environment, test it into the staging environment, and then only deploy into the production if it is working fine into the staging environment. And we should use the minimal downtime strategy and rollback mechanism in case of hotfix introduce any new issue. And we should keep monitor the impact post deployment of the hotfix. How do you deal with app versioning and the rollback into the Power Apps? So there should be a strict versioning system using the solution, and each solution version should be documented and the backup should be there before making any deployment. And if any issue arises, then there should be quickly rollback should happen and the previous stable version should be re-imported. How do you ensure the data consistency across environments during the app update? So data consistency can be ensured by syncing the data source across different environments, and you can also use a dummy data for the testing, ensure that app logic and the data related features behave as expected. You can also create the automated script, and it will help to validate the data consistency during the updates. How would you handle the app downtime during the transition between the testing and to the production environment? So to minimize the downtime, we should schedule the app updates during the off-peak hour. And also we should notify the users into the advance that what features we are going to deploy and what can be the downtime. And using a blue-green deployment strategy, basically it ensures the live environment is unaffected while updates are being deployed. How do you ensure minimal user disruption when transitioning from staging to production environment? So minimal user disruption by thoroughly testing the app into the staging environment, and then only we should follow the phase-wise rollout process. And we should monitor the user feedback during and after the deployment, and it will help to address any issue that arises. We should also plan the app updates during the low traffic periods. So thanks for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. So until the next time, take care. Goodbye. Thank you.